I'm just gonna put just some basics for now. So firstly, I'm gonna ask you, what is the difference between a creditor and a debtor, according to your own understanding?
According to my understanding, a creditor is someone that we owe, and
Yes,
a debtor is someone that owes us. So a debtor is an asset, and a creditor is a liability.
I like that. I like that. So it means we have got creditor, but the account that we open for our creditors is called creditors control account. I think you remember this.
Yeah.
Yes, it's called creditors control account. When you talk about the creditors control account, remember the creditors control account is part of what you call, I think you know, general ledger.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about that before?
Yes,
General
I have.
ledger. Yeah, so it's important for you to know that it is, let me just write it down, general ledger. So this is what we need to understand that the creditors control, if they ask you for creditors control, they will always ask you for a general ledger. Remember, when we say a general ledger, it means we have got all our creditors in
Mm.
as a total in that, something like this. Just to I'm just trying to, yeah. I think you know the basics, but I'm just trying to go somewhere. Can you see? This is what we normally have. I think you know the other side is a debit, and
Yes.
the other side is a credit. Okay, of which most people take this for granted. You know, they don't want to take the base. That's why they are stressed. You know, sometimes when they say, right, these basic things are important. You know that. Now,
Mm.
let me ask you something. You said it's a liability. So, where will we increase this particular account?
On the credit side.
On the credit side is where you're going to increase it, and then on the debit side where you decrease it. Okay?
Decrease.
Yes. Now, this is the general ledger. And then there's something called, I don't know at UP whether you call it subsidiary ledger or individual ledger or debtors ledger or creditors ledger. Do they ask for creditors ledger? I think so. It's the same thing.
Creditors
It's something called
like
creditors ledger.
the individual accounts.
Yes.
Yeah, they call them subsidiary lectures.
Or subsidiary ledger. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the like the book that you use and then the way they behave. But it's the same thing, like I said before.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So do they give you the formats there? Do they just give you an example? They don't normally give you the formats
They give us
when you write
an example. Is
an example. Okay. No, and then you have to draw those formats yourself.
well, we don't draw the way they test us here is so weird
Mm.
because it's like you need to be accurate, especially with your calculations, because we answer on a computer.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah, that's a challenge. Sometimes it's a challenge, you know that.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. Okay. Now there's a creators ledger. Obviously, when I have a general ledger, meaning everyone, if let's say I've got about 20 creditors, it means, for
Mm.
example, if let's say uh, all of them owe me a million rand. So obviously, I think you know, I'm just gonna put it here. You know that you're just gonna say balance. I think you know by now balance brought down. Let's say it's a million. I'm just gonna put a million here. I think you understand. This means that this is what all my creditors owe me. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but remember, at the end of the day, I need to make sure that I open like we said. This is called subsidiary ledger. You can also call it a creditors ledger, or you can call it individual ledger. Okay, so it means this 1 million consists of various creditors. They can be 20, meaning when I come to this creditors ledger, I need to open 20 of them individually. You got that basic. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. So meaning here we open them according to, let's say if we've got Sylvester, we've got Wazy. So at the end of the day, we're gonna open them one by one. But at the end, when I reconcile at the end, So when I add 20 of them, they must always get back to the total that I have. Okay. Are you still with me?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yes. So this is, I'm just trying to show you, I think, this is the format. So it's like the same thing, but just that the format is a bit different. I'm just gonna just try to manipulate the format. So we're gonna have something like this. And then remember here, I'm just gonna put the basic ones. I have debit. I have credit. And you're gonna have a balance. So it looks like the statement that they send you at the end of the month. Okay. Remember here it can be sometimes they call it document number. They can call it details. It depends. So I'm just going to talk about the basics. And sometimes they just say document number. I'm still writing now. Okay. So I'm just trying to give you the rough, because I'm still gonna do it. So this is how they normally give it to you. Obviously, you're gonna have a date, and thereafter you're gonna have a, let's say, for example, code sometimes. So this is just a general format. I think you are familiar with the format.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Of which, for me, you still apply the same principles. It's just that the formats are different. But for the formats to be different, it doesn't mean that you must change the way you apply. The same application when it comes to the basic accounting equation, you're still going to show and say, even though I'm under this ledger, Creditors ledger, it doesn't change. I will still increase under which side? On
The
there,
credit side,
and I will still decrease where?
debit side.
It's just that the format is different, but the principles are still the same. Are we
Okay.
clear there? So here is what we call the debtors ledger. Where we open, for example, let's say I'm gonna open someone by the name of, let's say, just say Wezi, for example. So this will be Wezi's account, and thereafter I'm gonna open Sylvester, Jones, all of them. So at the end,
Mm,
they form part of what? Of 1 million. Like you at UP. Obviously, UP, if you didn't pay cash, they will call you their debtor. You can find that all the students for UP owes UP 1 billion, for example. But when they send you the statement to you, they don't send you a statement that shows 1 billion. Okay? They only send you your statement. You only owe 200 rand. You understand what I mean?
yeah.
So that is the difference between the two. So I'm just explaining this because I'm going somewhere. Are you okay so far? Are we still together? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, no, we are.
Okay, no problem. So the other thing that I'm just gonna just put just for, even though we're not gonna talk about it today, but there's something called, I don't know if they did highlight that, there's something called creditors list. Have you ever heard about it?
Yes, I have.
Yes, the creditors list, it means, let's say for example at the end, where is here the balance at the end? You say where this balance is, let me just change the color here. Let's say your balance is 1,000. Let's say the balance is 1,000. So it means at the end, I'm gonna have a list under the creators list. I'm gonna have Wezi, for example, and then I'm gonna just copy that balance as 1,000. So creators list obviously is just copying all of them one by one, and you put them as a list. And then,
Oh, yeah, actually, what they, yeah, with the creditors list, the way they, what I've noticed with the trend here at UP with this module, they usually like to only give us the creditors list, as in the total balances. Like the
yes,
subsidiary ledger, we did learn about it in theory because it's in my textbook, but when they test us, for example, when we're reconciling, they give us the list, and then we need to uh, correct things or whatever.
yes. So it's important because even this list, remember this list is for this month. Let's say you are dealing with the month of June, meaning if you're gonna start a new month called July, the balances will be taken from the list from what? from June.
Mm.
So the list is very much important, but the fact is you cannot have the list if you did not open the creditors ledger. You need this. Otherwise, how will you know the balance for ways? Can you see now? So you need to
Yeah.
understand how are they related. And thereafter, the Wazy is part of the other, creditors. So if you add all of them, the total must end up equaling what? 1 million. Again, it's another
Mm.
reconciliation. Now, you can also reconcile the general ledger together with what? Creditors ledger. And then you can
Mm.
also reconcile creditors ledger and the statement that you got from your creditors, because they send you a statement. It's like UP, they send you a
Yeah.
statement and you owe them. So there's something called the statement of account. Statement of account is what the creditors uh, owe you. So in other words, they will give you a statement and show how much is the new balance. I think we're gonna go through that question. I think it's gonna make sense. So again, the reconciliation can either be between the two ledgers here, or it can be between creditors ledger and the creditors list. So the reconciliation can be done irrespective of the ledger.
Mm.
Yes. But again, you must know how to read that particular statement. Because some people don't know how to read the statement, they know how to read the balance, and then
Yeah.
when they read the balance, they don't even know whether they owe someone or is that particular person owing them. Because sometimes you can find that they end up owing you because you paid more, or maybe they overcharged you. Can you see now? So you must just know how to read that statement so that it can make sense.
Oh, so when we're reconciling creditors, doing a creditors reconciliation with another entity, we need to compare our list with the statement that they gave us.
Yes, the statement, remember the
Oh,
statement that they gave us, we regard that statement as correct.
oh, okay.
But if it's not correct and we identify at a later stage, that's why there are things called correction of errors. Can you see now? So depending
Mm.
on that information, we can come and correct. But for now, when we get the statement, normally that statement, it is what we believe in it. We say it's correct. So we adjust our books according to the statement. So whatever is on the statement is given preference. It means it is
Oh.
correct. So we just go, and sometimes you can find that in our books, and then we record it correctly, and then but from the statement it was incorrect. So when we are writing, they must tell us, they must give us enough information, because I cannot just correct something that I don't have enough information about. Okay, so they need to tell
Mm.
me so that I can know which one is incorrect. How must I go and change it or adjust it?
Mm.
Again,
Yeah.
no problem. So I don't know if you've got any questions so far, because I prefer if you are lost, you ask me a question.
No, not right now. We're good.
Not yes, no problem. Um, so I think we can just go and jump to the question itself.